only took me 5 years to figure out cinematic mode on my phone. Anyway, hey everybody, what's up? This is Retrokid Reviews doing my honorable best and the worst lists for 2025. This is just a product. This is I think an Avenger Force laser shell gun that I don't even know, so we'll figure that out as we go along. So that's gonna be future me to worry about for 2026 product reviews. Till then, let's get to the gigantic list I actually made this time around. Yeah, it's that long, especially when we get to the best. So word of warning for most of the worst list that we're gonna get to right out of the gate. I did not see the majority of these shows. I only heard them through reputation, and what little clips I saw online was enough to make me not actually get a full dedicated retro review or TV review of it in general. So be on the lookout for that. And admiring my, I guess, phone work now more than usual. Let's get to the worst list. Starting off with my honorable mention for the worst is the All's Fair Kim Kardashian weird legal drama series she was trying to make because she couldn't make the bar exam. I've prided myself throughout the majority of my channel to not talk about essentially that, mainly because I don't want to make it about them. And by them, I mean the Kardashians and their history of being a public figure for a bunch of other reasons that I don't want to get into. Google it yourself. You know who they are. As for the show itself, I don't know. Maybe with the right writer, maybe it could fix itself. Maybe a little bit more time in the writer's room could probably save a fledgling show like this. I doubt it, essentially. It's probably going to get canceled, and I didn't want to put too much thought into it. So, on to my actual worst list. Now, again, this is a big warning. Most of these I have not seen at all. I'm only going through reputation through most of these shows and IP they're mostly associated with. That will definitely be the same case. Will be set for the top 3 of this worst list. So, starting off at number 5 is a Netflix not animated mini-series called 0 Day. It was like the bulk of my feeds, like commercials for a good third of this year early on. It's supposed to be a Robert De Niro mini-series of him as the president when an exciting incident kind of arose. I think it's supposed to be like a COVID metaphor all over again kind of thing. So, didn't really put too much thought into it. I know that De Niro's not really having a decent 2025 in general because I think Alto Nights on the movie side of things wasn't really going to be the Oscar winner that he was looking for after his near successes over the years. Decades of career of his would probably lead up to it. And this also kind of sucks for 2025 for him in general because for those who don't remember, this is the 30th anniversary of Heat, and unfortunately the passing of one Val Kilmer, so my dearest apologies still to that. So again, didn't want to put too much thought into my number 5. Maybe I'll rewatch it or start watching it in this particular case to get a better idea of what I'm missing in the drama department with that, but probably not much. On to number 4, which I should have flipped as my number 3, but since we're here, we're gonna unfortunately leave the ball as it lies when it comes to this list, sorry to say. The Paper, aka That Office reboot. There hasn't really been too much I've known about the Office itself as a show. I am very much aware of its comedy. I'm very much aware of the British version of the show being the better show, depending on who you ask. I did like the show for a time. As for its unnecessary as all hell reboot, there was really nobody in the cast that would actually be willing to come back, except for one character actor whose name isn't I don't have off the top of my head, so link in the description down below for all the cast IMDb's for the top 5 for both best and worst, so sorry in advance. That being said, I know Domhnall Gleeson was supposed to be like the Jim character of like this reboot, to be like the central guy, to be like a whole, lovable loser kind of thing. But outside of that, there's not really much I could really write home about when it comes to that show. So that'll also be the same case for my number 3, Mountainhead. It is a HBO TV movie starring, I think, speaking of Office alumni, Steve Carell and a bunch of regulars that also got popular, obviously, during Succession. I think Kieran Culkin might have been in that ensemble. The plot of it, essentially, for this TV movie is basically a bunch of one-percenters basically going to their annual winter's trip when the world is literally ending, and are just, like, going through it on social media in real time, basically the crux of, like, the dark comedy jokes there. It had a good marketing pitch for it. It almost got me to watch it, but I don't know, not a lot of decent reviews of it after the fact. I don't know if it was like just a shot at like basically its own new era of like a Triangle Sadness kind of writing, so I don't really know. And because of that, Sea of I Don't Knows is the last of, I want to say, the 3 of this list. So, on to my top 2 worst of the year. This one is kind of obvious because I mentioned it way early on this year. It will be Star Trek's only TV movie I think they've done in a while. If you know, you know, it is Session 31. So, like I said when I mentioned this last time, please go to Jesse Gender's full review of the whole movie. She does a great job breaking down what is basically like the closest to like a tell-all what's going on so far fandom-wise for Star Trek with the Ellisons and with Skydance in general nowadays with Paramount and Paramount Plus, and basically how pretty much mid-tier this subsection of a subplot during, I want to say Discovery was branched out to be like a Suicide Squad knockoff movie. And like I said when I mentioned it last time earlier on this year, I didn't really take my time to go see this movie on Paramount Plus. I do have the service, I just don't really have a need for it since Halo's cancellation, among other shows. Only a handful would probably make me come back. I don't know, till probably next year, which of that handful it actually is. So be on the lookout if I do actually talk Trek next year. On to my number 1, and this is a show I actually liked when it was very early on, so I'll talk about the good seasons of, yes, One Punch Man. I am very much a big fan of the first season. It is a true adaptation from the manga. It was a very I guess, darling world-round success that it got in 2016. Going on almost 9.5 years later, Season 3's animation team took a dive. I don't know what essential arcs got cut from the animation budget. Again, I highly recommend going to Moist Critical's whole video series, basically all of his updates on that. Charlie Zillman was actually hate watching. I guess most of the central arcs is going to be happening in that 3rd season. And honestly, I feel like this is a show that basically got ahead of itself. I think it couldn't make up for lost time since the pandemic and everything like that when it comes to animation as a whole. I'm not going to badmouth the animation studio. I hope they can learn from this next year. I hope people don't get fired over this. I feel like people deserve a second chance of at least reanimating what was basically a new cornerstone into shonen anime when it was at the time with One Punch Man. So, with the hard part, which was making the worst list, I'm not even kidding, I didn't watch that much TV this year, and finding the worst was kind of the hard part. Usually my number 1s is shows I actually watched. I'll go to my last year top 5 to explain that as well. That's usually my criteria for number 1. I have to actually sit through your show once. I have to actually, like, basically give you the time of day to see if you're really worth it, and out of everything, I kind of am regretting we're skipping a little bit of Season 3 just to meet that criteria for the end of the year list, but that is how it is here. So with that being said, admiring my cinematics over here, we're going to move on to the best. Now, the hard part for the honorable mention for my best list, I actually had 2 shows, so I said to myself, screw it, they're both my honorable mentions regardless. It's an honorable mentions list. You can do that phonetically throughout, so that's I guess a tidbit there for those who want to get into it like me, who took 5 years to figure out cinematic mode on my phone. Yay, but hey, better late than never. Speaking of which, Peacemaker Season 2 and Marvel Zombie Season 1. I did reviews of only one of the 2 shows. Obviously, go to my Roller Fred Hood talking about the season finale for Peacemaker. As for Marvel Zombies, I remember the What If episode they did way early on when it was coming out on Plus for What If. As for the actual miniseries itself, it does open up to a decent Season 2. It gives a lot more to do with the cast of Marvel characters you have during phases 4 and 5. They got more to do. I will probably talk more about that probably in a Halloween video, just an update in case it gets to Season 2. Would love to re-binge it, honestly. It's very cinematic. For the zombies and how Wanda was handling in this what if scenario with the zombies and everything. So much so that Marvel's probably happy that became a rival season, well, sub-season in Marvel Rivals. So all of the marketing of that aside, both of these shows are still worth your time, especially if you're weirded out by most of the cell shading that they do for Marvel Animation post, I want to say Spider-Man, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. It's a little bit more smoother. The real reason why they did those cell shadings to look more like the movies, not really like an actual traditional animation team. But you kind of get it once you see the action and everything. It does collide a little bit better. This also still sucks that this is probably going to be the only Marvel property, only Marvel like project in general that Mahershala Ali's version of Blade is now a what if Blade that comes out first before the actual Blade. Yeah, jokes to that aside, it's good for what it is. It's better than the sum of its parts when it comes to that. As for Peacemaker, I'm very much should have just did an update video on John Cena's retirement from wrestling, because that is a minefield of discussion just alone, so be on the lookout if I ever talk about that after the fact for the end of the year. Or I guess New Year's videos, I guess, aside. But yeah, long story short, it's a decent season regardless. That ending is just a little weird and confusing. I don't know if they're going to do anything with it. I feel like they're kind of waiting on Cena's full retirement, or he's just going to be a player in the movies later down the road, if Supergirls indicate. So, with that being said, on to the actual top 5 best. And for number 5, it is Dexter Resurrection. That is not a typo. I think Dexter Resurrection is the course correction I think this series has been looking for ever since its series finale years ago in the original show. And if I was one Michael Z. Hall, he must be counting his lucky stars that this is the show that survives and not Original Sin. So apologies to Patrick Gleason, but obviously he's probably not having a hard time because he's going to be a bomb pretty soon in those games as far as IO9 goes. So, Hitman's usual development team. So he's probably doesn't sleep off that. As for the show itself, it's actually not bad. It's kind of ironic that we're back to having a winter, New York having to talk about a very winter-themed Dexter series. Sorry for the phone. That being said, hiccups are kind of natural here. Speaking of which, not too much hiccups on the writing department. I know Slipmaker did a good review for the whole first season, and yes, it is getting a second season, so I am very interested to see who would actually come back after Batista's death. Spoilers, by the way, for the best of everything here. Going on forward for all the best shows. Forgot that mention at the top of the hour here, but outside of that, it's a good show. I already did a review for the series, as always, links there to the cards for that. On to number 4, Alien Earth. Alien Earth is a hard sell for an alien project after Romulus, but you can kind of see that in the first 3 episodes, like I mentioned in my early reviews for it. The finale, though, I feel like is why it's at number 4 instead of at the top 3, is mainly because it also has a hard ask of like, okay, so now the hybrid kids have all the control of the island. Do they have control of most of Prodigy's tech and this version of their xenomorph? Who really knows? It's a season finale that leaves more questions than answers, and a good way to sell you a new season, but not really a good way to be a satisfying conclusion to a story. So, that's kind of why it's at number 4. As for the cast itself, it's really cool. I keep forgetting her name, but Kyle Chandler's real-life daughter is kind of the big star out of this whole cast. I hope she gets to do more later down the road and not overuse it, kind of like the Westworld kind of situation, this kind of like sci-fi, cyberpunk kind of like tech future kind of narrative. So hopefully that won't go too crazy. So on to my number 3, and a show I have been desperately trying to put as a retro react / rec on the shorts pretty much all year was Splinter Cell Death Watch. Liev Schreiber plays the titular Sam Fisher of the Room, being an aged-out version of the character, and it's really good. The voice acting is really good. I believe it's the same animation team that's behind the current Netflix Tomb Raider series. I'm also very much aware the season 2 dropped as of last week. I didn't really get around to like do a proper retro review of it, so my bad in advance for the TV reviews there. As far as content goes, I'll probably talk about that probably in my retro react in the shorts, if anything, as far as this list goes. The show itself is actually really good. I think it's only 8 episodes. You get a good feel of how much Sam is changing between the games. I think IGN did a quick little nod to Chaos Theory, which is also, I think, the episode title for the season finale for this. There is some room for interpretation of like what Sam could do in the next season. It's kind of closed off given how long Netflix animation takes, so it's a good like one and done kind of story, and it's very nice for what it is. And the reason why I'm going less on spoilers for this one is because I'm actually pleasantly surprised at how things went, so I think you guys should watch it as well. So on to my number 2. And this is a late and, well, not really late edition. I was kind of waiting on the season finale to basically confirm this is actually a good show. And if you saw my previous video, yeah, of course it was going to be the Mighty Nine Season 1. So because of that, please go to my previous videos on that, because I'm going to be talking more or less the finale for this, for my number 2. The Zadash job was really interesting for what it was. I think there was only one standout that was a adaptation straight from the actual play, so if anyone wants to talk about that, please let me know in the comments down below. As for the finale itself, it was really good. You got to see a better a level of the threat that Ikathon Crane is going to be later down the road for his arcs that was adapted from the actual play. Mark Strachan, who I did mention throughout all my reviews, who was voicing him, had a great job doing it. Another person I forgot to mention when I was talking about all of SS's subplots is that he had an original character for this version of his story, which was played by Raul Coley, who was a original character for the show. And apparently the rule of thumb, I guess, if they're going to do original characters, they're going to die or some different circumstance in that kind of aspect. They had a tell-all for each episode when they dropped, so go to the links to that if there is last cards. So outside of all that, since I don't have time to do a proper review of the season finale, I'll say it here. It is actually really good. I get to see more of Yasha hopefully next season, and you get a really good kickoff to how her mind manipulation arc is going through the person that was manipulating her. I need to, obviously, since I'm here talking to creators, yes, I'll try my best to read all the Vox Machina, my 9 origin stories, so I could get a better idea of how they're going to be narratively versus how they probably were in the actual play. So with that said, and I'm generally lucky that my phone isn't tapping out right now, let's get to the number 1 of the year. For those who saw my last top 5 video, go to my Halloween video this year. Yeah, Andor Season 2. No duh, it was going to be the number 1 of the year. Tony Gilroy did a great job with the writing as usual. Its ending basically lines up perfectly to Rogue One, for those who saw that movie almost 10 years ago now. Wow, in advance saying that. But, yeah, everyone in the cast did really good job. Skarsgård of it all, and his final act of being this insider in between, like, the rebellion and everything was really cool. Daniel Diego should totally probably get a primetime Emmy for their show if they haven't already. So yeah, with that all being said, I'm gonna go sporadic with spoilers. I'm mostly casting for Andor because I think this is the longest gap I've talked about a show since its season finale review. So again, go to that for if I got most of the cast right. So again, it's still a stellar Star Wars regardless. To probably what will probably be a ish movie when it comes to Mandalorian Grogu next year, so we'll figure that out as we go along. But if you do want to see some decent Star Wars, this is definitely still the best show out of them all so far. And we got it done, and I'm surprised. So here's the list. Go ahead and pause now. I hope you love my crappy handwriting. It's been like that since I was a little kid. So speaking of which, yeah, no hands or anything here. Next video is going to be obviously my best and worst movies playlist, which I already have on the notes I have on my phone. So be on the lookout with even more cruder handwriting. And with that, I already go to the list here to sub the channel, hit the notification bell down below. Go to I guess the closest thing to a modern day, I guess, Die Hard pistol, if it can sound on right, to the shorts playlist, which was my previous video here, which was obviously talking about the back half of the Mighty Nine, before now talking about the season finale here in this top 5. Other than here to the shorts playlist to talk about also my things I missed in that season finale, which I will probably also talk about. Any things I missed here. Probably won't be any for the next couple of weeks, mainly because it is New Year's by the time I get the movies playlist out. So with that all being said, take care, subscribe. I'm Retrokid Reviews saying, yeah, I hope I keep the cinematic mode for my top 5 movies playlist, because this would actually do, or work, or be a sinner. Who knows?